Alright, I'm very disappointed with EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2 releasing in 2017, and honestly, it's not just because of the microtransaction debacles. There are many reasons for me to dislike this game, from the fact that there's still no server browser, something that has been in most Battlefield games, console or PC. The progression system, even without the microtransactions, leaves so much to be desired. And the fact that not all heroes are even there are unlocked from the get-go. There are 14 heroes locked from the very beginning, and of those, only 8 are unlocked. 6 are not, including Chewbacca, Iden Versio, the main character from the campaign, Leia, Palpatine, Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker. And all of those combined take about 200,000 credits to unlock. Keep in mind, you earn roughly 1,000, maybe, on a good match of Galactic Assault that lasts about 10 minutes on average. So, it's without a doubt, that's a stupid grind. Those 6 heroes should be unlocked from the get-go. And if you only plan to play this offline, they're all unlocked already. But if you want to play online with other people, you have to unlock them. And then there are the microtransactions, which those 6 heroes play into. You can get credits faster through loot boxes. You can unlock star cards through loot boxes. Not the highest rated star cards, mind you, the epic tier, guys calls them. But you are able to get star cards through loot boxes, and star cards can do everything from changing an ability to giving you a flat stat boost, whether it is your health starts regenerating 20% sooner, or at max rank 50% sooner. Or it could be this gun does more damage, or this gun does more damage, and so on, or your grenade recharges faster. You're able to get those without playing the game and just buying your way to get those microtransactions. It's something that shouldn't be allowed. I get that people are going to say, oh, well, it's only a chance that you can get them from the loot box. You shouldn't be able to buy them and happen upon them. So, it's a stupid system, and it shouldn't be in the game, and in essence makes the game very pay to win, because if you have a lot of money, and some people do, they could pay their way to having inherent advantages in a game before I do. Or let's say these stat boosts are flawed. The stat boosts in and of themselves are flawed, because let's say you get the game a few months or maybe a year down the line after launch. When the final bits of DLC are all out, there's a Game of the Year edition, and you pick that up. The stat boosts that are in the game, everyone has them. Everyone has them maxed out to their 4th tier because the star cards are tiered. You're able to have it maybe a 1 tier where you start regenerating health 20% sooner, or you might have the 5th tier, 4th tier where you are getting it, your health starts regenerating 50% sooner. I don't get why they put fucking percentages and not just say, hey, your health starts regenerating so and so sooner. Percentages just makes it more confusing than it needs to be. People that will have played the game the entire time and don't care about the microtransactions, and that have played despite the game may or may not have a steady flow of content, they will have all those star cards. They will have them maxed out, and then you're someone new coming in. You don't have money to spend on microtransactions, so you are bare bones. You are missing many of the heroes because we don't even know if we have to buy the new heroes that come out with DLC with credits yet, because the game hasn't launched properly yet. So we're left with a big question of, are the players later on going to be at a huge disadvantage? And it looks like, yeah, they're going to be, unless the game radically changes after launch. And I very much doubt that, because as of now, the entire system is heavily incentivized for you to get microtransactions. But the gameplay is so good. The maps look phenomenal. Everything looks amazing. The game feels fun. If you are going around shooting people, it feels really good. I'm very good at shooters. Okay, I am above average at shooters. And the fact of that is I should probably be slightly above the average in the leaderboards, and I usually am. There shouldn't be anything that feels inherently cheap, and there were many things like that in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta that was on for about 5 to 7 days. So by that time, people had found out all the cheap things, like, oh yeah, you can go off the radar, and then you have a thing where your infiltrator pistol, every time you get a kill with it, it resets the counter, so you can keep it forever if you keep killing people. Also, it's probably the most overpowered gun in the beta. That was inherently cheap. And so far, there isn't anything cheap like that in the game other than the star cards, which nobody has yet, thankfully. So the gameplay feels very fun, and you can't help but think, oh man, God, I feel so cool, it feels so fair. And then you get back to the main menu, and then you see everything pointing towards, hey, you aren't going to be unlocking this for a while, or hey, you won't be able to get this for a while, but you might be able to get it sooner if you can get some loot boxes. You might be okay with that. I'm not. I can't recommend this game because of this whole microtransaction system. And it is a damn shame that the Star Wars IPs and licenses went to EA and not somebody who deserves it. Because honestly, EA has fucked every Star Wars game that has come out so far. And that's 0-2. And I feel they could have gone 2 for 2 just because they have a very good developer, DICE. They could have done so much better, but they didn't. They could have just made this Battlefield, but Star Wars, and it would have been 10 times better. If they kept the progression system from Battlefield 4 and just gave it a Star Wars look and feel, the game would be, the first one would have been Game of the Year, with or without the limited content it had. Mainly because people would have just been like, oh man, there's just so much to do, because even if Battlefield 4 didn't launch with much content, you still felt like you had a lot to do because you were still unlocking new guns. And that felt nice. And in the original Battlefront, it was lacking in guns. And in this one, it's not too lacking in guns. But the original was also lacking in maps. And then this one isn't lacking in maps that much. But still, it's not a game I can recommend. One game I can recommend is a game I'm playing currently a lot. Ubisoft's Rainbow Six Siege, a game coming up on being 2 years old and is going to be getting a year 3 of content, meaning more seasons of content, more operators, more maps, all that stuff that people like. Now, Rainbow Six got a lot of shit at launch for being a game that got severely downgraded from its original E3 trailer, something I can't deny. But the game still looks good and runs at a very steady 60 FPS, making it very playable. Something it has over Battlefront 2 is that Siege has a cosmetic-only microtransaction system ranging from helmets to uniforms to skins for guns. They can cost a lot of in-game currency earned through only playing the game, so it can feel it's just easier to buy camos or other cosmetics with real money, but otherwise it can be avoided really easily. However, nothing in-game can be bought to give you an advantage, unless you exclude Ella. Now, I actually plan to do a full review of Siege when Season 4 of Year 2 gets released to the public about sometime in December. Until then, maybe give Siege some thought. And maybe don't think of Battlefront 2. Don't buy Battlefront 2.